Silence has never been a solution to problems, especially when a country is in dire need of your guidance. As things continue to get thicker, the CEO of the nation, William Samoei Ruto, has taken a backseat and he's watching as things unfold. The most unfortunate thing is that things are unfolding in the very saddest way. Kenyans are losing lives because there is a standoff between doctors and the government. Farmers are staring at a possibility of a starving nation in the next harvesting season because fake fertilizer has found itself into the supply chain. The capitation fee that is supposed to be sent to schools for the first term did not reach them, and schools are closing this week. So it means when they get to when we get to the second term, some of them will be getting, maybe, if at all there will be any capitation fee meant for second term, will be received in meant for first term will be received in second term. And ladies and gentlemen, just in 1 month, people have lost, or more than 1,000 people have lost their lives, courtesy of the road carnage. And statistics show that most of these are as a result of human error. If this does not amount to you as a crisis, if this is not tantamount to total negligence to you, then I don't know what you're thinking about. As Ruto is enjoying himself in Ghana, people have ganged up, and Embakasi East Member of Parliament Babu Owino has filed a notice of motion of impeachment of the CS Susan Nakumisha, and he's saying that this is negligence of duty, and he's saying that the CS has deprived Kenyans to the right to life and the right to the highest attainable, life, health. And this is a test to Moses Wetangula. People have really said that Naumencha is very close to Moses Wetangula. Now I want you to listen to Gathoni Wamuchomba leading the very young parliamentarians who have decided that they are going to take the role of opposition when people are quiet. And Gathoni did not spare William Ruto. And she's saying that it is now or never.
I am here as a woman, as a leader, and as a mother. I am here to speak on behalf of many women, many family members who are struggling because of doctors' strike. I am sure you know how many mothers are delivering in our hospitals without assistance of doctors. I'm sure you know how many patients are succumbing to cancer because of lack of doctors. I'm sure you know how many accident victims are abandoned and neglected in our hospitals because there are no doctors to even operate on them. I'm sure you know the economic stress that Kenyans are going through, and they cannot afford to sustain private hospitals' medication, and therefore we are losing thousands of Kenyans in homes abandoned because of lack of medical attention. This is something that as leaders, young leaders of Kenya, members of parliament who have conscience and who feel that they should speak for the people who elected them and trusted them, we have to keep speaking. We were here last week and we asked the government to actually think on strategies and approaches on how they are going to sort out doctor strike. It is very sad to hear that even the clinical officers want to join in this strike. It is very sad. I want to beseech the government of Kenya, the Kenya Kwanza government, which I am part of, to kindly listen to the plea of Kenyans, the many patients who are succumbing into various medical issues because of lack of medical attention, which is supposed to actually be provided by our doctors and our clinical officers. I also want to say this. Doctors are voters like any other voters of Kenya. And if we have to fight for voters of Kenya, doctors are part of those voters. And therefore, their small votes, even if there are 10 of them, should be respected. I want to call out on a scheme I can see coming. a government sabotage scheme that is coming from within the government of Kenya. It cannot be that we are sabotaging ourselves when it comes to issues of economy. We are sabotaging ourselves medically. We are sabotaging ourselves agriculturally when we provide fake fertilizers to our people. We are sabotaging our education system by refusing to give out money meant for capitation to our schools. I don't know whether you know that as we speak, public schools are closing this week, and some of them have already closed. But the amount of money that was supposed to be given for capitation for first term, it is still yet to be released to our schools. And the money that was released by the ministry, it was clearly labeled that that money is to be used for second term. So we are asking, where is the capitation money for first term? That is to mean any school that had debts between January and April, that school is going to start receiving auctioneers. And these are issues we are talking about of sabotage. Who is sabotaging the government of Kenya? I think this is time for us to start calling spade. A spoon is a spoon, a spade is a spade. A problem is a problem. I know you're wondering, why are these few members of parliament speaking? Because these are the people who have the conscience. We all swore to protect the constitution of Kenya. We all took an oath and vowed to fight for the rights of Kenyans enshrined in the Kenyan constitution. It is not right and it is not business as usual for us to see doctors in the street under the rains. We are seeing doctors striking the whole day, yet our mothers, our fathers, our young sons, our young daughters are agonizing in the corridors of our public hospital. It can never be business as usual. And therefore, we are still calling out the government saying, as team ground, hii ni team ground, sisi hatutachoka kuitana wakati kuna mashida na kuna siasa ambazo zinaharibu maisha ya watu wa Kenya. Kama fertilizer ni mbaya, tunasema ni mbaya. Kama doctors wameachiliwa, tunasema wameachiliwa. Kama masomo haiendi kisawasawa, tunasema masomo haiendi kisawasawa. We are team ground. Our work is to listen to the ground and amplify the voices of the voiceless, the people who trusted us and trusted us with their votes. And that is why we are members of parliament today.
If I was the Minister of Health this time, either if one person died in some countries because of there's something wrong, either she fixes it or steps out. Simple.
It is not the people of my Kariba who are suffering. A bishop can afford to go to Aga Khan hospital, but the grandmother who you call pale mashinani cannot afford. So we want to see the president talk about it, solve this problem, let people live well in this nation.
Mbolea ilitoka, ilipeanwa with the systems that were supposed to be doing. They have the accountability. They have who are the storekeepers. They have the lorries that transport it. The Minister of Agriculture should not come and tell us ilikuwa ikatembea. The Minister of Agriculture would have come and told us this what happens, and either so and so has been sacked or himself is stepped down. The rate of accidents in Kenya can be measured with the rate of corruption in this country. We must have consolidated effort with the police, NTCA, and all the systems concerned, because there must be something wrong. For those vehicles to do what they are doing right now, either things have gone out of hand.
So, ladies and gentlemen, when William Ruto comes back to the country, he knows very well that he must decide, because he cannot continue to keep quiet when things are wrong. He told us he had a plan, and we are waiting for that plan. He told us when he appointed a team of the cabinet secretaries, and he told us that that was the best team that he ever, sieved and like edited, and gave us a team that he was very sure was going to carry and implement the bottom-up agenda. Baba Wine has filed a motion. The National Council of Churches are saying we cannot wait. Now, Mincha and a group, Gathoni, Wamuchomba and a group of the other MPs are saying people are dying. When you visit the mortuaries, people are dying, and it is as a result of we cannot get medication. There are hustlers who cannot get proper medication. As the bishop puts it, there is a class of people who can afford medication when they visit private hospitals. But the hustlers who voted for William Ruto, the hustlers who are told that for a long time the narrative has been about the Mabwenyenye, the sons of the former presidents and vice presidents, those who William Ruto called people who were born and bred in state house, in palaces, and they had never tasted the pangs of hunger and the pangs of poverty. And hustlers were told for the very first time they have a candidate, they have someone who was selling, chicks and eggs. And so this man understood the predicaments of the hustlers. Now here he is, very quiet when the hustlers are dying. Let me tell you, when Parliament has given William Ruto the green light to appoint the chief administrative secretaries, the CSS, that the courts had declared unconstitutional, then he has no choice but to give doctors money. He has no choice but to give nurses money. He has no choice because in a way he's telling people there is money. If there was no money, and we already have, principal secretaries, and we have ministers, they are able to do the works. Adding more people to duplicate jobs in offices is something that doctors cannot take. And you see, when you see the National Council of Churches, and you see doctors, and you see people weighing in on William Ruto, they know there is money. Margaret Nyakango Daktari, who is the controller of budget, is saying just recently State House was about to be renovated using some millions. Recently, the government requested for over 74 million Kenya shillings to be used without the approval of Parliament. Well, the law says that they can withdraw just for emergency. And she has flagged off massive irregularity, massive wastage in the country. And people know there is money in the public coffers. When the Controller of Budget and the Auditor General questions how money is being used, when we hear that loans are being added every day, just the other day the IMF is giving us more loans and we don't see where this money is being used. In fact, Dr. Margaret Nyakango likened it to a person who is taking Fuliza and he or she goes merrymaking and that money does not help. Is there anything to show for the loans that we are getting? At least under Uhuru government, we can say SGR, even if the amount was exaggerated, but it is there to be seen. What is it after we took more loans just less than 2 years after William Ruto took oath of office? Is there any mega project that we can talk about? This is a government of looting. And when public, offices and civil servants look at what is happening, they understand that there is money, but this money is being collected under the pockets of a few people. They cannot accept. Let us give priority to the people who give us services. William Ruto says that he wants to give affordable health care. He's doing away with the NHIF and is bringing his company for what? But then the people who are at the center of it all, even if you had a good medical cover, even if you had a cover that gives you, outpatient, maybe 300 million, inpatient, 1 billion, but you do not take care of our medics, the clinical officers and the nurses and doctors, I can assure you, you're doing nothing. We have to take care of them. Very soon you will hear teachers and the lecturers and all this, because they understand there is money, but someone is sitting with the money they are eating, if I have to use that term. This is going to be a test on Moses Wetangula. People are saying that Nahumicha is very close to him, and now he's the National Assembly Speaker. Is he going to allow Nahumicha to go? Because already Babu Owino has filed a motion with the clerk of the assembly, Njoroge, and this has to move on. So everyone is going to gang up. I don't know whether William Ruto is waiting for the country to be tired so that by the time he sacks them, they will not hold anything against him. But you see, as he waits, people are dying. On the roads, Murkomen must go. We need a proper explanation. That is why he was appointed a young professor. I mean, if he cannot fix it, then he has to go. Now, what makes it funny is Nahumincha, at the time when people are dying, instead of giving proper explanation, she's saying that people have seen that her work is exemplary, and therefore people who ganged up against the changes in the NHIF are the people who are now trying to sabotage her. When the doctors have said there is no one who has sponsored them, they are looking at the welfare of the doctors themselves. The other professor in the Ministry of Agriculture keeps on bragging there is no fake fertilizer, and he's telling us that this is Azimio propaganda. When we are dealing with, precarious matters, very sensitive dockets, we need people who are serious. And it's blaming Azimio when people are dying. This hogwash of blaming people is outdated. We cannot continue blaming when people have died. It is just impossible, and William Ruto must reign. And this pressure, I don't know how William Ruto is going to handle this pressure, but there must be at least 6 cabinet secretaries whose heads and necks must be on the chopping board. They have to go. Kenya does not belong to William Ruto. Kenya does not belong to the CSS. Kenya belongs to all of us. The last time I checked, these people are maintained by taxpayers' money, hard-earned cash. And we need to see value for our money. This is why William Ruto was being told, yes, you can tax people, but let people see the value of the money that they're being taxed. I don't know what is happening, but the government is sabotaging itself at the expense of our lives. I don't know what to think, ladies and gentlemen, but that is my take.